Your hands smell like chemicals, even when they're clean. You've scrubbed them every night for 3 years with the kind of soap that strips everything. The ink, the solvent, the adhesive residue from passport laminates, and still by morning you can smell it again. A faint chemical sweetness that lives somewhere under your skin now. You stopped noticing it around month 4. You only notice it now when someone stands too close. Nobody stands too close anymore. That is one of the benefits of this work. You're sitting at your workbench at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday when the order comes in. Not through a phone, you don't use phones for this, through an encrypted message on a laptop that is never once connected to the internet under your real name. The message is simple. 6 identities, full package, passports, driver's licenses, social security cards, birth certificates, American, British, 2 Mexican, 1 Canadian, 1 German. Delivery in 5 days. You read it twice. Then you close the laptop and sit in the silence of your workshop for a moment. 6 in 5 days is aggressive. You have done it before, but it costs you. The precision required for this work doesn't accelerate well. Rush a passport laminate and the edges bubble. Rush a seal impression and the depth is wrong. Wrong depth gets someone stopped at a border. Someone stopped at a border starts talking. Someone talking leads back here. You open the laptop again and confirm the order. Your workshop is in the basement of a print shop you own legally. That part was the cartel's idea. Give the forger a legitimate business as cover, something that explains the equipment, the chemicals, the odd hours. The print shop does real work too. Business cards, flyers, wedding invitations, normal things for normal people who have no idea what happens 2 floors below them after closing time. You bought it 3 years ago with money that appeared in an account with a note that said simply, setup costs. You've never met the man who sent it. You know him only as a voice on an encrypted call that happened once, 2 weeks before you started, that explained the arrangement in precise and unhurried terms. The arrangement is this. You make identities. They pay you. You ask no questions about who the identities are for or what they will be used for. You make them perfect and you deliver them on time, and in return you are left alone to live your life above ground while the work happens below it. For 3 years this has worked exactly as described. You start with the passports. American first. Always American first because the security features are the most complex and the most unforgiving. You have a system. Substrate paper sourced from a contact in Eastern Europe who has never asked you a single question. Intaglio printing for the portrait page. Laser perforation for the page numbers. Holographic overlay sourced from a different contact, this one in Southeast Asia, who also asks no questions. The face in the passport is not a real person. It never is. You generate composite features. A nose from one database, eyes from another, a jaw structure that belongs to no one and therefore cannot be traced to anyone. You have software for this. You built it yourself over 18 months because the alternatives available online were inadequate, and inadequate gets people caught. By 2 a.m., you have the substrate printed and drying. You go upstairs and make coffee and stand in the dark of the print shop looking out at the empty street. A cat crosses under the streetlight. Nothing else moves. You go back downstairs. Day 2 is the British passport and the first Mexican document. The British passport is technically harder than the American. The biometric chip is a particular challenge, one that took you 8 months to solve when you first started. You solved it the way you solve everything, methodically, patiently, by understanding the system well enough to replicate it without triggering its own verification protocols. This is what you are. Not a criminal, exactly, or not only a criminal. You are a systems thinker, a problem solver, a person who looks at something impossibly complex and finds the seam where it comes apart and comes back together wrong, but right enough that no one can tell the difference. You were an immigration document specialist for 12 years before this, government contractor, security clearance. You helped design some of the very features you now spend your nights defeating. That is the irony you have made your peace with. The Mexican documents are comparatively straightforward. You have made over 40 Mexican documents in 3 years. Your contact in Guadalajara sends you updated templates whenever the design changes. He is the only person in this arrangement you have ever met in person, once 4 years ago, over coffee in an airport for 11 minutes. You don't know his real name. He doesn't know yours. By midnight on day 2, you have 3 documents complete and drying under UV lamps. You are ahead of schedule. You should feel good about that. You don't feel anything about it. That stopped a long time ago. Day 3 is when you notice the van. It is parked on the street outside the print shop when you arrive at 8 a.m. White, unmarked, tinted windows. A telecommunications company logo on the side that you don't recognize. You stand at the print shop window for 4 minutes looking at it before you unlock the door and go inside. Vans park on this street. Delivery vans, repair vans, the occasional tourist who got lost and stopped to check their phone. You have seen dozens of vans on the street in 3 years, and none of them meant anything. This one feels different. You can't explain why. You have learned to trust that feeling. You go downstairs and work, but you work differently, slower, more careful, checking the street-level camera you installed in month 2 every 30 minutes. The van doesn't move. By noon, it is still there. By 3 p.m., it is still there. At 4:30 p.m., a different van, same logo, same tint, parks 2 streets over. You see it on the camera you installed on the corner, the one that looks like a standard security fixture and has never once drawn attention. 2 vans, different streets, same logo. You sit at your workbench and think about this for a long time. Then you keep working because stopping now would be worse than finishing. Day 4, you complete the Canadian and German documents. The Canadian passport is the one you find most satisfying. The design is elegant, the security features layered in a way that rewards the kind of attention you give everything. The holographic maple leaf on page 3 took you 6 weeks to replicate properly when you first started. Now you can do it in 40 minutes. The German document is the most technically demanding of the 6. German identity documents have a security architecture that is genuinely impressive. You have professional respect for whoever designed it. You defeat it anyway because professional respect and professional capability are not the same thing. You work through the night. At 6 a.m. on day 5, you have all 6 complete. Passports, licenses, social security cards, birth certificates, stacked neatly in a plain brown envelope on the workbench. 6 complete lives that didn't exist 72 hours ago. You sit back and look at them. 6 people who will cross borders, open accounts, sign leases, build histories with faces and names that came out of your basement. You don't know who they are, you don't know what they have done or what they are going to do. That was always the arrangement. You don't ask, you don't know, you deliver. You put the envelope in your jacket pocket. The pickup is always the same. A car, a driver you have never seen before and will never see again. A handoff that takes less than 30 seconds. You walk out of the print shop, you hand the envelope through the window, you walk back inside. That's it. That's all it has ever been. You go upstairs at 7 a.m. to wait. The white van is still outside. You make coffee, you stand at the window, you watch the van. The van doesn't move. You drink the coffee, you check the time. The pickup car is due at 8 a.m. At 7:59 a.m., your encrypted laptop chimes. A message. 1 word. Abort. You read it once, you read it again. Then every door in the building opens at the same time. They come through the front, the back, and the basement entrance you didn't know they knew about. 12 agents in tactical gear, weapons drawn, moving through the print shop with the practiced efficiency of people who have done this many times and know exactly where they are going. They know the layout. They know the basement. They know about the workbench and the UV lamps and the chemical smell that never quite leaves. They have known for longer than the van. You are standing in the middle of the print shop holding a coffee cup when the first agent reaches you. You don't run. There is nowhere to run to, and you have always known this moment was a matter of when, not if. You set the coffee cup down on the counter carefully, the way you set everything down, deliberately, without sudden movements. You put your hands up. The agent tells you to get on your knees. You get on your knees. The floor is cold through your trousers. Someone takes the envelope from your jacket pocket. Someone else is already downstairs. You can hear them moving through the workshop, calling out to each other, cataloging 3 years of your most careful work. An agent crouches in front of you. She shows you a badge. She tells you her name, Special Agent Diana Voss. She tells you that you are being arrested for document fraud, conspiracy, and materials support. She tells you that you have the right to remain silent. You look at her. You think about the chemical smell that never leaves, the cat under the streetlight, the 6 complete lives in the envelope in someone else's hands now, the 11 minutes in an airport 4 years ago with a man whose name you never learned. You think about 12 years as a government contractor helping build the systems you spent the last 3 years defeating, the irony you made your peace with. You think about the van outside, the feeling you trusted on day 3 that you ignored on day 4 and day 5 because stopping felt worse than finishing. It didn't feel worse than this. Special Agent Voss is still crouching in front of you. She asks if you understand your rights. You tell her yes. She nods. She stands up. Someone helps you to your feet. Your hands are cuffed behind you. They walk you toward the front door of the print shop, past the counter where you make business cards and wedding invitations for normal people, past the window where you watched the van for 4 days, toward the street where 6 more vehicles are parked and the morning is just beginning, and everything you built in this basement over 3 years is being carefully boxed and labeled and carried out into the light. You step outside. The air smells like nothing, just air, clean and cold and completely ordinary. You breathe it in. For the first time in 3 years, your hands don't smell like chemicals.